How's everybody doing? I'm just going to show you today how to install DragonLaminates film onto your headlights or taillights. First, what you're going to want to do is take a piece of tape and try and remove the layer that is on the sticky side. There's going to be two layers, one on the chrome side and one on the sticky back side that doesn't have the chrome. You're going to lay it down, position it. First, you're going to want to spray a little bit of water. When I say a little bit, I mean very minimal, just a light mist. You don't want too much because too much will keep the laminate from sticking and just be a bitch to fight with. So anyways, just lightly mist the backside of the stickiness on the tape and then also on the headlight. That's all you need. Basically, it's just there to be able to position the laminate to where you need to move it, and then once you squeegee it down, it sticks and you won't be able to move it anymore. So basically line it up exactly where you want it. I only pull the backing off halfway so I'm not fighting the other stickiness that I'm not touching yet. Put a little spray on top for a little bit of lubrication while squeegeeing. You're going to want to start in the middle and work your way out towards the outer edges, and then once you get the middle laid down, you'll work down and up towards the edges just like that. So push from the middle down and push out any of the air bubbles and any of the water that's in there. Sometimes you'll have to pull the laminate back up just a little bit to adjust it in case you do get a little bit of an air bubble. It happens. You will be doing this quite a few times if it is your first time. Even people that do it all the time still have to do this, so it's just finesse. You just got to keep playing with it. Try not to get your fingerprints or touch any of the stickiness that's going to be seating on the plastic itself. Those are areas that it will peel back up because of the oils on your fingertips. I do recommend to wash your fingertips with rubbing alcohol. Make sure your hands are very clean. And then you're going to want to make sure that any contaminants are not on. I found that I did have something here. I'm going to use a razor blade and try and pick it off. And then basically just use the tip of a razor blade, very lightly remove any contamination that might be there. I don't know how it got there, but it did. Just be careful. Make sure that you're in a dust-free environment and not contaminating the plastic or the lens. I like to tend to wash the lens down first with a little bit of a rubbing alcohol that you would see in my removal video. So go ahead and push it down. Once you get towards the edges and any type of part of the headlight that has either a protrusion or you're trying to end the film as far as like the end of the headlight, you're going to have to start using a little bit of heat from either a heat gun or a hair dryer. I recommend if you're a novice to use a hair dryer. A heat gun isn't super necessary. The hair dryer will do a good enough job. It just takes a little bit longer, but if you're a novice, I'd recommend using the hair dryer because you can warp the chrome look as well as the material. So you got to be kind of careful on how much you apply to it. Once you get towards this little protrusion like I have on the headlight, I'm going to break out the heat and try and heat the laminate up. Basically get the laminate to be able to mold. It kind of basically the heat will deactivate the memory in the laminate because the laminate comes on a roll that's flat. So you need to heat it up in order to get these edges to stick down and wrap. So basically you're just going to be pulling it over the edge, and at the same time you can use your fingers or the squeegee, whatever works best, but heat it up and you can press out with your fingers, as you know, on certain areas. And now that I moved on, I got half of it done, I can remove the other half of this protectant on this from the sticky side, squirt that side and the light, and then going to apply a little bit of the heat. And once I apply the heat, it's a very fairly quick process. You're going to want to move fairly quick. The laminate does cool down pretty quick. You really only have like one shot at it each time. You got to kind of reheat it up again. Like I said, be careful on how much you heat it. The material has a little bit of a stretch in it. You can stretch it a little bit, but not too much. As you see, I heat it up very slowly. I have it on a low setting. You can see it start to kind of limping up there. And what you'll do is you just push your squeegee wedge over at the same time as kind of like pulling pressure on it, and then pushing the air bubbles out as you go. As it conforms, it'll be a little bit easier as the laminate sticks, but once it gets towards the edges, it starts to be a little bit tricky. Right here, once you get towards the end where all this, you'll start to see that you have a little extra laminate in certain spots. It's kind of hard to tell you what I mean by that, but you'll see it start to crease up and crinkle. You really got to be careful not to crease it, because once it's creased, it's damaged. So you see those little bubbles there starting. You got to be real careful. Slide at 45-degree angles, little by little, and it eventually just pops, pushes out. Right now I got to heat it up again to get it to stretch to to the shape that I need. A little bit of spray to help with the push and pull process with the squeegee. So once you get it there on the flat part, for the most part, you can just squeegee it out. Just be careful of those bubbles. That bubble will cause a crease if you're not careful in pulling pressure on it. You just pull, squeeze, pressure. It's all a game. Takes quite a few times. You'll have to pull it up a few times to get those air bubbles out. It's a little difficult. I recommend cutting off quite a bit of the excess laminate, but to give yourself enough to pull and tug on the laminate to stretch it, and also enough to wrap it around the edge to where you'll be cutting it. Basically around right here, you're going to have to heat it up and continually pull up and squeegee out again until you just get it perfect. It's a bit of a process, but once you get the hang of it, it's fairly easy. It's just the protrusions and the round corners that tend to give me a little bit of trouble, and I think as well as others. Just make sure you heat it up just enough, not too much. Less is more in this case. As you can see, I've had to pull it up quite a few times just to get it perfect. It's just the way it is. It's not a wham bam application. It takes a lot of pulling, re-stretching, and heating, and it's a little bit of a game to get it down. And once you get to the edges, basically you're going to start heating it up and pulling it over to wrap around the edge.